Greetings, I'm Rodger Newbold, and welcome to episode number 26 of Experience Photography. My fellow photographer, my partner, my editor in this episode is Mr. Matt Rich. You know, he's the man that puts all the dig in this digital thing. He's been nailing all of the bits and bobs together for this episode, and I bet he's out there. Are you there, my friend?
I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out what a bit or a bob is. I got to get them nailed down.
In episode 24 and 25, we talked about many methods of bringing back life to your work after being stuck in a boggy sinkhole of depression or marooned in a mojo eradicator. We outlined procedures to reignite your self-esteem and charge up your fun meter once again. And we sincerely hope that the pointers were of a big value to you. Now keep in mind, because you just never know when the wind direction of life is going to change. Today we're going to cover what to do when you need the steadiness of the three-legged tripod. That's our little buddy, but you're not allowed to set one up, or it would not be advisable to do so in these circumstances. Now, it's obvious that the spike-footed tripod could damage a floor. Therefore, such a tripod might be forbidden in some locations. It is also understood why a giant trip hazard, like a tripod, might be banned in high traffic areas. I can imagine the concerns of the management group when a tripod defense barrier is implemented all around and you can't get through. Museums and historic locales often have collections that are worth millions of dollars, euros, pounds, pence, francs, whatever. Some contain works of art that are hard to value, and they're just referred to as priceless, and they absolutely detest tripods and their treasures. Now, when a hardy group of 20 workshop participants besieges or obstructs the public viewing and the experience that others are exasperated not to get. I've been treated exceptionally cold by rangers in the national parks when photographing in a confined area with a big old substantial tripod and or bringing in a workshop group. The reality is that the relationship between the outdoor photographer and the public land managers can be a mutually beneficial partnership. But that means we must uphold our end of the bargain as well. And when we are amateur photographers making pictures purely for enjoyment, or a professional making his living, we can begin by recognizing that our activities can have an impact and potentially degrade the place that we love. It's by detracting from others' enjoyment, or perhaps even creating a safety issue. So what is the alternative? What exists? Now, we touted tripods and their usage as being totally indispensable back in episodes 6, 7, and 8. And we're not backing down on a need for one of those benefits that they provide. Today we're attempting to outline an approach, an attempt to have stability when necessary. Now, when a tripod is banned, you may have to resort to a swifter scheme of deployment, such as a monopod. So take a look at figure number 1, Matt. There's your monopod. A monopod may not be a perfect solution, but certainly it's less obtrusive, and it can double as a hiking pole. Or better yet, if you're in the southwest United States, it can be a snake deviator. Trust me. Since it will be extended to eye level for use, it will be discernible, and it may be disturbing to some. Since you'll be holding it like a steady stick and with one hand and operating the camera with the other, the weight load of the monopod is not of great importance. But please, do not let go of your grip on the monopod. Or, they do not stand well on their own, or they don't stand well at all, regardless of the design and construction and what others' claims may be. Be swift, get the shot, retreat. Now, figure number 2 shows us the use of a Joby pod. It's far less conspicuous due to its smaller size, which does have some advantages in candid photography, but it's only capable of very light camera loads. I can guarantee you I will not be putting my full-frame DLSR with a telephoto mounted on to a Joby pod. Now, some like them, others attempt to dispose of them like a rabid arachnid. See that number 2, the Joby pod. Another useful tool is a car window mount camera holder. For those who make images in the manner of Lee Friedlander from the car, I think figure number 3 shows the open car window mount. It's made by Oben, and it's a great little trick. A small ball head could be added for versatility, and this is perfect for those with limited mobility or on a motorized only quest. It's pretty cool little trick there. Now figure 3B shows a window rest beanbag. Now this one says it's for shooting your rifle from a car. What? Not only is that totally illegal, and it's not even advised at all. However, it will support a telephoto lens on a car window rather nicely. And it's not too expensive. I just had a question from one of our viewers going on to a trip. And he says, what do I do? I can't take a 7-pound beanbag with me in my luggage to Africa. Good thing to do is find a heavy-duty freezer bag, or if you can, a canvas bag. Just throw it in your luggage and take it with you. When you're on location, open it up, fill it full of dirt or sand or whatever happens to be there, and ziplock it closed. Use it as a window rest, a car rest on the edge of a safari vehicle, whatever. But that's a good, cheap way of getting there. Greg, I hope that helps. Now, figure number 4 reveals a suction-based camera bearer that can be stuck to your car hood or almost any other surface. Now, when you use it on your car, you should keep your speeds under 75 miles an hour while it's mounted on the hood. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, it's your equipment. Adding a remote release, and who knows what other exaltations may await. You might get some really cool stuff. Now, this little thing is sunroof, dashboard, windshield usable. It's hotel window approved. You just, as a side note to users of the car-mounted camera, if you're using this, either use a shutter speed that is faster than the engine RPM, or turn the car off. There's a real story in there, but I'll reserve it for another time. Figure number 4, that suction tripod. Figure number 5 points out an interesting do-it-yourself method of stabilization. I procured 4 steel washers. They're 1 inch in diameter with a 1/4 inch hole in the center. They were about 1.2 millimeter thick and just heavy enough to be effective for this project. I purchased a spool of number 12 ply cooking twine. That's pretty heavy string. And I cut a length of just over 6 feet long. If you're taller, use longer. I picked up a 1/4 inch wide with a 20 thread per inch, that's the same as your camera tripod socket, in a 1/2 inch long eye bolt. And you'll see that in the figure. These were all available at my local hardware store for about $7 US. I attached one end of that cut length of string to the washers and the other end to the eye bolt, and I secured them with good tight knots. Now this can be carried in your pocket. I mean, it's a little teeny, less than a handful of stuff. You can put it in your pocket, carry it easily, and it's adjustable to any height according to circumstances. Now, to deploy, you take the threaded eye bolt and you screw it into the bottom of the camera tripod socket. Set the washers on the floor or the ground. Don't toss them, they make a lot of noise. Place 1 foot on top of the washers and then pull the string up to take out the slack, and the string with the lens on camera stabilization activated. I've been able to successfully shoot at a shutter speed down to 1 second without blur. Now this is really handy if you're on the run, or if you happen to be in the Wells Cathedral photographing the big scissor arch. What a beautiful shot. They don't like tripods, but you can get away with some string and washers and it will work really cool. Now, we have been made aware of an additional piece of kit that is initially, it seems worth its weight in gold to me. Introducing the newly updated Platypod Extreme. Take a look at figure number 6. Matt will put a URL up there to find the Platypod page. It's pretty cool. Now, the Platypod has been around for a few years, and it's undergone 4 updates. Its current form, the Extreme, is 9.6 ounces. That's 272 grams. It's 7.75 inches, or 19.7 centimeters, by 5.2 inches, 13 centimeters. It's 5 millimeters thick, and it weighs in approximately 3/4 of the weight of the old Platypod Max version, largely due to the redesigned, carefully designed machining and the number of cutouts in the aircraft-grade aluminum. It makes for super easy transportation, and it has an included carabiner. It's really cool. Click on the Platypod, click it on the back of your pack. Right there, ready to use anytime. It's really super. It saves a lot of weight without compromising in its strength. Now, the extra mounting holes that you see throughout the Platypod give it more options than ever before. Take a look at figure number 7. It is cool as heck. In this new design, there is one notable difference, and that has to do with the screws on the side. The Extreme features screw spikes that are attached, not in a secondary pouch like they used to be. You don't lose them. You don't misplace them. They're hooked to it. It's really cool. Now, the stainless steel screw mounts, they're fixed on each corner of the Extreme, and they're adjustable. You can pull them out, twist them to any where you want them, 360 degrees, just like the Max, just like the Ultra, but they use the spike end of the rubber capped end. You can take the little rubber caps off. You can stick them into the ice, onto the grass, just about anywhere you need to be, or leave the rubber ends on for if you're working in tabletops or delicate surfaces. Now, if you don't use them, that's fine. They just fold flush with the bottom of the plane of the Extreme. Take a look at Figure 8. Now, the Platypod has a ball accessory. It's not included. That's separate, sorry. But or you can use theirs or any other type of ball head that can be mounted directly to the Extreme via the very strong welded in titanium bolt. Although the Extreme is designed to securely hold up to 22 pounds, I confirm that not only does it support the weight of a giant Nikon Z9 and a Nikkor 14-24, that's a pretty formidable setup. It doesn't tip, it doesn't fall, doesn't crash. It does a great job. Now, mounted with a little ball head on it, and it did it easily. Now, I've heard that it can, with the spikes out, with the rubber tips off, hold everything in place on a sheer ice wall, sidewards, just stick them into the ice. Even at a very, concerning angle to me, it seemed to work. Now, Figure 9, it shows the easily adjusted spring-loaded spikes and the rubber cups, and they're great. I think it's a great piece. Now, Figures 10, 11, and 12 show a few of the numerous accessories that have been designed for Platypod, and they're available for use. The Platypod is a special tool. It's not a tripod replacement. It's another tool. In most situations, a tripod's going to make a lot more sense over the Platypod. But the fact is, it doesn't take away from the Platypod's ability, because it's a different tool for a different job. Both it and a tripod can mount a ball head and a camera, but they're most useful in totally different situations. Now, when the strap option is threaded through the Platypod, it can be secured to a tree, a rock, a railing. It can be mounted sidewards, upside down, backwards, at any odd angle you want, set on the floor, on the table, on a park bench, and, it's really cool for candid work. One of the fun things we discovered is that you can put your Platypod down on a table at the cafe or on a park bench and sit there and with the Wi-Fi be watching the picture right from your cell phone. That's pretty cool. When action's right, push the button, takes a picture. Nobody sees you looking through a camera. Nobody's expecting a thing. I think it's a great tool. Now, with the little goosenecks and the tiny, tiny lights that are available for it, it's splendid for little macro work on top of your desktop. So don't toss out that workhorse of a tripod. But if you find yourself in a situation that you're not conducive with, pick a winner from today's list and use one of those. Now, I can't believe it, how time flies. We're about the end for today. But if you found this information important and usable to you, please give us a great big thumbs up. More importantly, share it with your friends, all your associates. Build them up. Give them something that they'll use and have more fun. Tinkle that little bell for alerts when new material's available. And keep those comments coming in. Just a little discussion between me and friends and others of the same hilt as we are that want to do photography. Bring up ideas, and we share that to make us all better. Now, much of today's material on the screen has been because of a need. And Matt and I enjoy sharing the foibles and the champions of our many years in the realm. No need for you to crash and burn. We've already tried it. Be prepared to reinvent yourself quickly. Adapt and overcome. Stand up. Take a good look beyond your assumptions, and you might just surprise yourself. Just remember, tell the camera what to do rather than letting the camera automation dictate your choice of solutions. Be prepared to move from magic moment to magic moment with smoothness and grace. Seeing joy and glad tidings through a lens, it's just not a bad way to see life. I sure hope to see you out there again soon. So until we meet again, remember, I offer a tip of my hat to you, my friends. Cheerio.